Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, and I'm riding solo again, guys. So, big apologies from the main man himself. Again, we just cannot get our diaries together on this one, unfortunately. It is a massive grind, a daily, not daily podcast, and a daily podcast on maths is a lot to take in. So, unfortunately, he will be back for maths, the main man, Mr. Dave. But you got me again today. And a massive thank you as well for all the feedback yesterday. I just threw it out there. I think we don't want to feel as if like we're just throwing content out there. We want you guys to be happy. And I know, obviously, me and Dave, we yin and yang, we play off each other. And, you know, it is what it is. And obviously, I know I'm the funniest. So, I realise why you're tuning in. The irony of that. But there you go, guys. No, thank you, honestly. And just a bit of an announcement as well. It's difficult to say these sort of things without sort of trying to blow smoke up your own arse. So I don't want it to seem as if we're boasting, but we've hit a massive milestone overnight. And I want to thank every single person who's ever downloaded the podcast, whether you agree, disagree, whether you have a laugh, whatever. However you listen to us on this podcast, it's entirely your choice. And we appreciate all feedback, good, bad, everything. But we've actually hit 500,000 downloads of the podcast, which is absolutely unbelievable. Nobody, between me and Dave, we've talked about it before, but it was basic conversation. I tried to reel Dave in on a reality podcast because we do other podcasts. We have the Comics Emotion podcast and we have the VHS Strikes Back. And the VHS Strikes Back is our movie one that we've been doing for a long time. And I kept saying, do you want to do a reality one? Do something different, something... You hate this sort of stuff. Let's do it. And, as we know, we've said it loads of times, eventually Dave watched one episode of Love Island and he was in and just rang, and I forget it. He rang me going, let's do it. And I was like, okay. And here we are now. So, yeah, this was not anything planned. We're just two normal guys, two friends, and it's just snowballed into this great, great show with so many wonderful people in our community. So thank you to every single person who's listened to us past and present. We really, really appreciate it. So thank you, guys. Honestly, it's so nice and so humbling because we're just a pair of bellends, basically, who talk about reality TV. So, yeah. So anyway, episode 43 of Love Island. Now, it all centered again around this relationship between Casey, Claudia, and Rosie. Now, I've said before, I'm not invested in this at all. It's fucking utter horseshit. I really cannot be doing with this whole thing. I think Casey's dealt with things wrong. He's acted like a bit of a fuckboy when he's been in there. He's having a great holiday. I've said about his personality. Tonight, though, I sort of feel a bit sorry for him, if I'm being honest. I think, and this is going to be difficult as a guy. Am I being subjective? Am I being fair? I think the way the girls have gone at him, there's a lot of hypocrisy. There's a lot of things they've forgotten about, like what some of the other girls have done in Casa and things like that. Some of the guys have done the same thing. And obviously with Casey, he was more upset with the fact that Will and Tom didn't have his back and just sort of told the line. I just thought he was just a bit naughty. I mean, the pie game, he was always going to get a few things that way. And he takes it all in good thingy. I think I tried to take a step back and I was thinking, well, he had said to Claudia from the get-go, I do want to, explore Rosie. I have a connection with her. I don't want to close you off. He did the pie, he kissed Rosie, then he went in to marry Claudia, and she give it the big one about, you can, throw it in his face or whatever. But, seemed okay. Was that the right thing to do? I don't know. But the one thing he should have done was tackled her head on. And then when he did tackle her head on, that's what she was asking for. Obviously, she had a face like a pan of piss. So it was sort of like, what point should he have told you? Should he have told you after a day? You wouldn't have been happy. I don't buy this whole relationship anyway. Like I say, I'm not saying I'm a massive Casey fan, but I don't know what else he could have done watching it tonight. And I just felt that there was a lot of lines drawn and a lot of people forgetting where they stand on these sort of things. We've seen it with maths. For some reason, Harrison, who is the biggest hypocrite and gaslighter on the show, is now like this voice of reason for what happened to Jesse. And he went at Adam, and we saw it all. It was a completely. People just forget we're all hypocrites. We all get jealous. Everything, but it's just human nature. But I think as you get older, you sort of see them things. You can take a step back. Most people can self-analyze and say, "Sorry, I was actually in the wrong." sometimes, we can. It's easier said than done. I'm not the be all and end all. I still get it wrong at this age. So it was just really interesting. And I was like, I'm not fucking bothered. Claudia's got this time on the screen, this whole relationship. Who's she going to crack on with? They've got to send someone in. Does she crack on with Keenan? I do actually think there is a bit of a connection with Keenan there. I honestly do. I think there's something. I said it yesterday about geographically, they live near each other. Does it make sense? Yeah, it probably does. I don't know whether she feels the same. So I just wasn't into it. And when he delivered the speech to her, I was like, she said to the girls, I can't believe I'm getting so involved and so with this guy. I'm like, but this is Love Island. I almost felt like I was saying it to the screen to her, like, Claudia, you've not read the memo. This is Love Island. People, explore other relationships. People do this. I just find it like everyone is a hypocrite, not just on the girls, on the guys as well. Everyone has a short memory. We've said this before. When they're backing up the boys or they're backing up the girls, everyone is like the moral compass, but they're all exactly as bad as each other. It's all the same stuff over and over, constantly like slagging each other off. And that's what makes it good as well, because you sat there looking at the screen like you're in a pantomime, like, oh my God, that's the baddie today. And so, yeah, I didn't get it. I think Cody doesn't like Rosie. And I've got to say, there's a few things I've seen about Sammy who I think she's like, there's a bit of I think she's playing a bit of a nice persona thing for the screen. She's got a bit of a tongue on it. There's nothing wrong with sticking up for yourself, at all. But yeah, she seems to be like, there's something there. She did get pied quite a lot, to be fair. It's probably no wonder she was pissed off, to be fair. But yeah, I don't know. It was quite a slow episode as well. And the one thing I would say on the Snog, marrying Pie was, Kai, what were you doing? The biggest opportunity to get Liv, she got you. Why didn't he do it? And I was reading some tweets, honestly, and people were saying like, one of them was saying like, Kai should have pied Olivia. She should have done it for the country and all this. It's like not in a nasty way, but it's like she deserved that. He got it off her, so why did he do it off him? But I think he was just trying to sort of go against it, and he went with Tanya. I don't know. He said, you're against my boy, and, Shaq loved it, and they were laughing and everything, and that's fine. But, yeah, I just think by the end of this episode, nothing really got resolved. Claudia wanted that. They've got to send someone in now for her, at least. They've got to, because it doesn't warrant her being in there, because it could be potentially like Martin. Is she more bothered because, she's about to be fucking voted off? Because that's the way it's looking, everyone's coupled up at well, actually, no, she's actually with Keenan, isn't she? Sorry, and Rosie is with Casey. So then again, is it the most popular couple? There's a chance she's going to go. I can see online she's not a popular contestant. However, a lot of people are down the middle. You've got loads saying that they went at Casey. It was wrong. Everyone piled into him, which I do think the guys should have just stayed out of it and not stuck by him, because some of his behaviour's been questionable, but just sort of, he was getting enough pelters as it is for the girls, you know what I mean? And that's it. And a lot of it was his own doing. I'm not defending in that way. I get that. But I just don't see how he could have come out of that any other way. I just felt a little bit sorry for him. And I think if it goes to the vote, Claudia could be gone. But then, like, say a few people are saying, like, Casey, get to the point, tell her. But we're seeing a condensed down situation. It looks like it's only been a couple of days. I mean, they were only together 2 days, and she went into Casa, and then they come out. I mean, I'm sort of the opinion, like, well, you were laughing your fucking head off, Claudia, when Cynthia was crying. You thought it was hilarious because Casey had played all these two other girls. You didn't give a fuck, to be honest. But like now, all of a sudden, you've now got this moral compass out. So that's what I'm finding difficult. How, to sort of vouch for Claudia. And I may be way off here, guys. You'll have to email us in cdrealitycast@gmail.com. Am I wrong? You know what I mean? It's like, I could be seeing it from a man's perspective. I could just be in a complete bell end. I just don't know what people are thinking watching it. Now, I think we're getting to the point where we've got 10 days to go, or 11 days to go at the podcast, of the podcast, yes, thank God, some would say. But of the actual show, and I think like we're going to get all the dates going into next week. We've got to see the families. Now, last time the family thing, we didn't see it till literally the death. It was like maybe 1 or 2 episodes from the end. We're going to get the helicopter thing. So there's got to be, at this point, they've got to start, chopping the fat off of the actual cast now. So we've got to see at least one couple go. and not to be replaced. I think there may be a hand where 2 more bombshells are going to come in, but it might be one of them ones like when you got the US one or the Australian one, because it's on a less of a time. People have literally gone in and they turned around in about 40 hours and they're booted back out with a suitcase. It's not even worth unpacking. So I just don't know what we're going to see in this next 10 days. And obviously the fucking baby game might be coming. The Australian one wasn't bad because it was done in literally half an episode. I can sort of handle that. And I know a lot of people like it, but as everyone knows with me, I fucking detest that whole fucking experiment bollocks that they go through. It's utter shit. One of the guys lobs one of the kids in the fucking pool. Someone leaves them out into, they're in the sun or whatever. There's always some fucking nonsense goes on. It's just you'll see who's maternal, who's not. I don't know how that signifies whether you're good in a relationship or not, but there you go. So anyway, that's just me on my little soapbox. I do apologise if you like it. Now, I haven't really got a lot more to say of the episode, really. There wasn't anything that really stood out. I think it just centered around that. It was just the game went on for far too long. We got 15 minutes of the guys pieing the girls and then 15 minutes of the girls pieing the guys. And that was it, really. Nothing stuck with me to go, oh, right, I can't wait to talk about that. So, yeah, it's weird. It's just one of them things, unfortunately. And yeah, it is what it is, guys. But we have had an email from our great friend Denise. So, Denise has said, I'm speechless by that episode. Every last one of them, aside from the newbies, are the biggest bullshitters in the villa. All of those guys did worse to the girls, but they exaggerate what Casey did in taking time to get to know Rosie. I'm glad Casey called out Will and Tom trying to make a bad situation worse. And I realised that they did that to avert the attention on their moving mad actions at Casa. Claudia needed some screen time, but the girl power is not justification for being a bunny boiler. She's really no different than Olivia. There's no winning for Casey. If he had gotten with Rosie any sooner, he'd be labelled a horrible player. And so he took his time and was respectful, and he's still wrong. The Islanders really have no self-reflection, do they? And I agree with that, Denise. It's been a really interesting cast this last few weeks. Like, a lot of them have seemed so immature. And even people like, Liv and Claudia are the 2 oldest, cast members. We'll call them cast members. Yeah, and they're the, they've been the worst at times. So they're not the only ones. I'm not just singling the girls out. The guys have been idiots as well. So, yeah, very, very strange season, I think. And obviously, we've heard the rumours that it's going to be axed. I personally, as much as I love covering this and talking to you guys, we both do, me and Dave, it's just one of them things where it's like, it's a bit too much, I think. Love Island once a year is perfect. It grabs everyone's attention. It's the summer holidays. I remember this is so bad. I remember about 5 years ago being in Menorca with the family. And honestly, we had English TV on there. ITV was on there. And all of us were like, it's about 10 o'clock. Because obviously in Spain, it's an hour in front. We're all like, oh, really tired. I've been up and everyone was going back to the fucking apartments watching Love Island, So that's Love Island for me. In the summer, or sat in the garden, having a drink late on when it's still light and it's not crappy depressing. I just think that's one of the reasons with this Love Island as well. Not just because of the cast of that, but just it's the wrong time of year. People are struggling. We've got all this fucking cost of living bullshit going on. This is my opinion. I'm not saying it's Dave's, but I just think it's just not the right time. It doesn't mean it's going to get any better in the summer, but things are always better when it's lighter. There's a bit of sunny weather, which we know isn't very often in the UK, but we do have our moments. So, yeah, I just think this needs to be put to bed now, I think. And, for mine and Dave's friendship as well. Because he fucking hates me at the moment because it's on all the time. But no, don't worry, guys. A few people have asked. He's not going anywhere. Trust me, he's not going anywhere. People are like, is Dave all right? Have we broke Dave? I heard some of the comments today. No, we haven't broke Dave. It's just a genuine scheduling thing. And I've been lucky enough to be able to jump on and do this, but there may be a time where I can't or whatever, and we'll try. We always said this. It was supposed to be a once a week podcast. We did once a week with maths, and then we've started doing a daily maths one, but we love maths, so it's different. And this I think it's just because this is on 6 days a week. It's a massive slog. We keep saying it, broken record. I'm sorry to keep saying it, but no, Dave is not going anywhere. He's here for good. And some are saying that he's not on because the greatest football team in the world actually won a cup for the first time in 6 years. And that he's now realising that Manchester United are back And we play his beloved Liverpool on Sunday, so let's see. I may be eating my words because anything can happen in football, but it's been a rather good weekend for myself. It really has. There was drinks, I shed a little tear, and I'll be going to watch the mighty Reds tomorrow as well against West Ham. So yes, I am in a very, very good mood. And all I'll say to you, if you're not a football fan, I do apologise, but Erik ten Hag is the man. And I'll say no more about football, but I love that club so much. And also, we have a voicemail from our wonderful friend Joe. So this is a great little message, and Joe will be back on. I do appreciate, the fact that Joe takes the time to send us messages. And here it is, guys. And thanks a lot, Joe, as always. We do appreciate you. Even if you are a Casamorian in someone's eyes, you should always be a Radarian.
Hi, this is Jo, the woman who predicted that Casey and Claudia would still be together in 6 months' time outside the villa. Hi, hope you're well. Just been listening to your solo podcast, Chris. Big thumbs up from me. Well done. We can't have a day where you're not on. Like, whether it's you by yourself or I join in or someone else joins in or Dave by himself, we've got to have a podcast. So let's get that clear right from the get-go. I just wanted to pop on here to say that you missed a trick on today's episode, because I know that the Casey and Claudia story is a bit fake and a bit boring, but you've missed the greatest thing about this episode, because the producers were focusing on Claudia and Casey and on Ron and Yawn thingy getting together and becoming boyfriends and girlfriends, whatever. Because they were focusing on that, we didn't see Olivia. Woo! Sending you this before Tuesday night's episode and before I've listened to your podcast. So you might have covered all of this in today's episode. So feel free to just delete if you have. Hope you're well, love. Here's what I want to say. Not one of the Islanders deserve any praise again, ever, for anything. I am so sick of Casey being branded some sort of evil villain. Now, listen, he has not, of course, held himself in high regard, because he has flip-flopped between many women, and he has let Claudia hang there, and that's absolutely fine that he's done that, and so he just need a little telling off. But the way the whole villa, and this includes the boys, the way they conveniently forget what Tanya did to Shaq, for example. She bought somebody else back from Casa Amor and was in bed with him for many nights before she would make her mind up, and no one cares. Even the lads are like, oh, well, we feel sorry for Claudia. Yeah, well, okay, fine, but have a go at Tanya. Like, why on earth are they forgetting? The women forget, oh, it doesn't matter that she did that. It doesn't matter when girls do that. I'm so angry with the boys and the girls for not keeping it real. You're allowed to be angry at Casey, but only if you've been angry at every single other person who has done exactly the same as Casey has in this villa. And Ron, I know everyone thinks you're wonderful now and you're boyfriend and girlfriend. You can kiss my ass. You kept going after every other woman that walked in the villa until you made your mind up. Oh, well, there's no one else better, so might as well go back to Lana. None of you are decent people. And there finishes my sermon.
Thanks for that, Joe. As I said before, if you want to email us, cdrealitycast@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social media, @cdrealitycast. As always, get over to Facebook, Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. We're slowly but surely climbing to 1,000 followers on there, 1,000 of you wonderful people. So thank you so much, guys. And big thanks to Charlene for moderating that and giving us the direction to get the page up and running. We do appreciate everything you do for us, Charlene. Thank you. And as always, patreon.com/CD Realitycast. If you want to support us a little bit more. And if you are one of the patrons, guys, please get in touch with myself or Dave if you need a link to the Discord, because we do go on there and have a chat. And I have seen that the Facebook general chat has been great as well. It's got loads of spoilers. Everyone's talking about the episodes. Please be wary if you do that message request and you go into it. But it's just really nice. It's a another way of everyone interacting within the community, and it doesn't cause any like spoilers things or anything, hopefully not as much as it was. So thank you so much for all that, guys. So today's roll call of honor is Kent Gustafson, Lucky Lily Green, Lauren Tracy, Hennessy Susan, Priscilla Dee, Katie Libby, Joanna Noreen, Chloe Brianna, Helen Keith, Gillian Zoe, Kristen, Maggie, Kate, Megan, Cassie, Fiona, Emma, Schmave, Nicola, Makes It, Alex, and Helen. So thank you so much for your support, guys. We will be back later with some Married at First Sight. Dave will be back, and I'll see you later. And as the great man says, bye now.